Welcome to the Halloween special edition of the Wrassingh Show. Today's special guest is Finland's #1 professional wrestler and a real-life witch. She will be sharing her stories not just from the ring, but from the world of witchcraft, and she'll be telling us the truth behind this mysterious, magical world. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce to you my friend Regina Rosendahl. Regina, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you?
Very well. I'm so excited for this interview, and I'm so excited to see you. So, for all of our listeners, listening to this right now, you've probably listened to the previous episode we did with Regina, and you know that she is incredible. And apart from being an incredible wrestler, literally a pioneer of not just women's wrestling, but wrestling as a whole in Finland, Regina is just, she blows my mind. She's just awesome. And today with this interview, you'll get to know that she's a lot more than just that. I mean, she's a great human being, very kind, intelligent, full of love. She fights for equality, gender equality in wrestling, and continues to evolve her character and her surroundings every single day for the better, making her one of the best in the business. And I know that she will make it great and very big in the business, and will be a household name in the future. I know that for sure. But Regina, I know that as good as you sound, I have a feeling that people should not get on your bad side. And that's because you apparently have a dark side that many do not know of, at least not as of yet. Regina, you are a witch.
Yes, I am.
A witch. The first time you told me that you're a witch, I was like, she's joking. But as you can see, you're not joking. You're dead serious about it. And as a guy who only knows 2 spells, that's abracadabra and Wingardium Leviosa, I don't even know if I pronounced them right. I am amused, and I'm very curious, and I'm thrilled to know about all that you do. So, yes.
Yeah, it's funny that you call it a dark side. I think it's actually more of the warmer side of my personality, but I do see how people see it as dark and mysterious. Yeah.
First, I think the reason why people call it dark is because they don't know anything about it, and they see the the films, and they see the Halloween, and they're influenced by it. They make a perception, and I hope that after this interview, I know a lot more, and I know that people will know a lot more about witchcraft and witches in general. So, Regina, I know that you were a fan of wrestling since an early age. But when and how did you get into witchcraft?
Well, witchcraft is actually very new in my life. I've always been interested in the occult, in the supernatural, all things like that. Obviously, Harry Potter was a big part of my childhood. But as in practice in witchcraft, I've only been researching and practicing for a little over a year. So I'm very much a baby witch still. So do take everything I say with a grain of salt, because I'm sure there are a lot of things that I still don't know, and I will be thinking completely differently about some of the things in a year. So,
Okay, that just makes me want to ask you that we're doing this interview again next year.
It's a yearly thing, yay!
Yearly thing, yes, that's right. So, before this interview, because I know nothing about witchcraft, and I was like, let me do some research. So I got on Google, and I Googled what is witchcraft. And according to Google, their definition of witchcraft, and I quote, was that it is a practice of magic, especially black magic, and use of spells. So how much truth is there into that statement?
Everything else except for especially dark magic, because it's all kinds of magic. Dark magic is part of witchcraft as well, but I wouldn't say witchcraft is especially practicing dark magic. No.
Right. Can you define magic? Because, for the layman, for people who know nothing about it, magic is something, it's fiction. It's not real. But as we're talking about it and you bring up magic, can you tell me something about it?
Well, when we talk about witchcraft and the practice and the magic, it's very individual for everyone. It's very different for each person. So I can only speak for myself. So to me, magic is just about manifesting the results that you want and the life that you want. And it's about being one with the nature, being one with, animals and other people, and respecting all sources of life.
I see. Wow. So I think I've heard of this somewhere, that magic is everywhere. It's all around us. It's in the nature. It's in the animals. It's in
Yes.
the plants. So there is some truth to that. I'm very intrigued. And when you say dark magic,
Mm-hmm.
what exactly is dark magic, and how does witchcraft and dark magic, get along? How does it work?
Well, dark magic is just one part of witchcraft and magic. And the things that are included in dark magic is usually hexes and curses and, stuff like that. When your spells are, the purpose of your spells is to do harm. That's
Right.
dark magic.
Right.
Yeah. Which I do not do, at least not yet.
Well, once you won that title, once you won that gold and you're healed,
Yeah.
that'll happen. But it's interesting. So, wow. So is dark magic something that, like witches are proud of, or it's something that many witches despise? Because it obviously gives this whole community a bad name. Even if people don't think that it's real, it gives them a bad name. That a witch, she probably does a lot of black magic. That's the first thing that comes to a lot of people's mind. So is this something that you guys wish that it just didn't exist, or,
I think the witches that I know and have met, none of them have practiced dark magic. So I don't think it really is that common. But I do understand why it's the most why it's the one thing that comes to mind to people. But what was the question? I'm sorry, I'm still a bit sick.
The question was that, do you wish that a magic like that just did not exist at all?
No, I think I believe there's a place for it. Mm-hmm. There's bad people, so maybe sometimes you need some dark magic.
Sure. So we can say that you're basically the baby face of witchcraft.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So why is it that, because in wrestling, if you look at people like John Cena, when they're a babyface, mm-hmm. they're wearing orange, they're wearing green, they're wearing red, and the heels are the ones wearing black. And when you see witches, I'm looking at you, and you look great, and you're wearing black, but you're a babyface. Yeah. You're a babyface. Yeah. So why don't you? I mean, I think it could sound like a stupid question, but why don't good witches have like a happier or like lighter color?
I mean, I'm sure they do. This just happened to be what I picked up. I almost wore a yellow shirt. Yellow is my favorite color. So this is just a coincidence that I'm wearing all black. Yeah,
I'm wearing all black too. I love black. Yeah. So, but there's no like strict uniform. There's no attire like a dress code. Okay, all right, that's good to know. So, how does one know that they're? I mean, how do they know that they're a witch? Is there like, if you see Harry Potter, they go to Hogwarts, they get training, they do all that stuff. But how does someone actually become a witch?
Well, I think to me, if you practice witchcraft, you're a witch. So it doesn't, anyone can become a witch.
Okay.
That's the only definition to me. There's no such thing as a witch gene or something that you were born as a witch or something like that. No, it's just the practice of witchcraft, and whoever practices it is a witch.
Interesting. So the whole concept of muggles, as we saw in Harry Potter, is not real. I mean, witches love non-witches too.
Yeah, I mean, not it's muggles are not a thing in my world, but
Okay, that's
I
good.
mean,
That is good to hear because, the last time we did the interview and I was like, gosh, she's a witch. I'm a muggle. So she probably hates me. But now I feel a little better. Interesting. So, but I have this doubt in mind that, for example, if I start doing witchcraft today, if I start practicing it, and if I'm failing at it, I don't know if I'm really succeeding at doing what I'm doing. How do I really know that if it's working or if I'm actually a witch? I mean, a wizard, I would say. Is there like a special power that I feel within me, a vibe, some ability that I feel like it's something special from my past self, something like that?
well, actually, you said a wizard, but that's the Harry Potter world. So actually, witches can be from all genders, and a wizard is something that is that's a fantasy character. So
Thank you for letting me know.
So we have female witches and male witches. Yeah, but I think that's kind of the tricky part about practicing magic, because people when they consider magic and doing witchcraft, they think, okay, I'm just going to do this spell, for example, prosperity spell. So I will get money after I have the successful in this spell.
Right.
And that's not how magic really works. Especially for me, it's so much more about respecting nature and having good intentions and being mindful, not so much about making a spell and really expecting something
like an explosion,
concrete evidence of it, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting. Wow. So going back to the topic of dark magic and the magic that you do, it's close to nature. Can you tell me, like, if there's an outcome that you expect when you're doing something like that, close to nature, close to animals? Do you expect an outcome, or is it just comes from within you that?
Yeah, it comes from within me. So I don't. It's really, to me, it's really about the process than the outcome.
And the satisfaction you feel within.
Yeah. It's a lot about meditating and just being one with nature and being kind of silencing your mind and just focusing on the present. And that's very hard for me to do. And this is exactly why I feel witchcraft is very helpful for me, as a contrast to wrestling. So this is something that's very calm, and it's something that's only for myself, and I do it only by myself. I don't have a coven. I don't do anything with groups or any other witches. So I only practice alone.
That is great. This interview, we're just starting, and I can tell you that my perception on witches is already changing, because after watching all the Hollywood films and all that stuff, I was like, witchcraft is some dark place. But now the more we talk, it's more about internal satisfaction. It's almost like meditation. You're doing it for your own soul, like purity of your own soul, and it's something special. I mean, people should be more aware of it, because what a lot of people, when they talk about witches, the few things that come to their mind is like tarot card reading or fortune telling or crystal balls. Is any of like these things that I just mentioned, any of them, like, is it included in witchcraft?
Yes, it is. It's very much included. I myself do not practice those, at least not yet. I am more of a what you would call a kitchen witch, actually. So I work a lot more with herbs and plants and different kind of foods. but yeah, there are witches who practice tarot card readings and stuff like that. But that almost would require belief in a deity or a higher power to make that work.
Right.
I think, because witchcraft is not a religion. Witchcraft is only a practice. So if you are a witch, when you practice witchcraft, you can be a secular witch like I am. I do not practice any religion. I'm just practicing witch. You can also be a Wicca, which is often very much confused with witchcraft. They are not the same thing, but a Wicca can practice witchcraft and a witch can be a Wicca, but they don't have to. But you can also be a Christian, for example, if you're a witch. So, of course, your personality and your belief system will affect your practice in witchcraft.
Right.
So that's why there are some things that I do not practice, because I don't believe in a deity. So that kind of trying to read a crystal ball would kind of feel awkward for me, I think.
Absolutely. No.
Yeah.
But, it's interesting because I was just going to bring up religion. You said that there are witches who follow Christianity, but they are also witches. And once again, I'm going to go back to, the general perception of the people. And a lot of, I would say, Christians, they are against the idea of, witchcraft. And I mean, I have friends who are Christians and they're just against the idea. So how does
you froze?
Yeah, I think, yes, you froze for me as well.
Now I can hear you, but now the
yeah, I think you froze as well. Okay, now
it's back.
Yeah, it's back. Perfect.
Okay, good.
All right, perfect. So yes, my question was that there are some. I'm not sure about all Christians, but there is a particular group who do not see witchcraft as something really good, or they see it against their religion. So how does somebody manage to follow Christianity and also follow witchcraft? Is there something that you know about this?
Well, I am not a Christian, so I can't speak for Christian people. But right. I think the biggest misconception about witchcraft is that we worship Satan. That's I think that's why most Christians feel like witchcraft and Christianity can't coexist. But like I said, being a witch and practicing witchcraft does not indicate your religion. And since I'm a witch who is not a Christian, or I don't believe in any sort of deistic beings, right. I also do not believe in Satan. So why would I worship Satan when I don't believe in it?
Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful. So the last time we were doing the interview, you mentioned that you actually set up an altar at your place.
Yeah.
So can you tell me something about it? Like, can you describe what is it exactly?
Well, a witch's altar can be anything. It's very personal, and it depends on the individual. But for me, it's mostly candles. I have some stones. I have some dried lavender on my altar. And actually, I have this. This is from my altar. I just put it here to look cool. But this is a pentagram that I have.
Right. I was just looking at your necklace as well, and I could see the pentagram. Yeah. I was going to ask you about it. What is it exactly? Because, I've always been scared of it. I'll be honest with you, because of all the Hollywood films and, you know how it works, right? They make a circle and they sit in there, they put somebody in there, and then the scary stuff happens in the film. So I've been scared of it. So please tell me, and, if you're not scared of it.
You really do not have to be scared of this. This is an ancient symbol, and there are so many different religions and people who have used this symbol. In in witchcraft and in Wicca religion, for example, it represents the elements: fire, earth, water, and air.
Okay.
And the fifth one is spirit. So whatever spirit means to you, whether it's a soul or a god, it's the fifth one is a spirit. So we use this, or Wiccans and some witches use it as a form of protection. So that's why I have pentagrams in many places, and I give it to people as gifts as well to my loved ones, so that they will have pentagrams at their house or wearing or anything.
So I've been scared of pentagrams all this time for no reason.
Yes.
That's incredible. And I feel so much better now because earlier, if I'm like going through like some Google or I don't know, some Twitter, and I see the pentagram, I'm like, no, I'm not looking at it right now. Because of this Hollywood, I would say it poisoned my mind. I had no idea. I was so ignorant about it and also so scared to actually check it out. But thank you for, just wow. I feel you always blow my mind with all this information. I'm speechless.
I do hope if someone is listening to this and there's something I say incorrectly, please do message me and tell me that I'm saying something wrong. But about this, I'm positive this is what it is.
The one thing about you, Regina, I must say, is that you're so humble. And the first time we did the interview, and there were a few of my followers who reached out to me, and they were like, Regina is so approachable. Like, we just texted her and she replied back to us. She's very nice, very kind. I'm like, yes, that's what she is. I'm telling you, Regina, you're a baby face. You should be a baby.
Oh God.
Yeah.
No, I shouldn't.
So tell me this, you're walking down the street and you see a lady. Do you know if she's a witch or not? I mean, can you tell a witch when you see one?
Well, no, obviously not. It's for some people, being a witch and being a Wicca, for example, it's a spiritual thing, and in some people, if they wear a pentagram, for example, then I can maybe guess that they probably have something to do with it. But anyone can be a witch. And even if you wear a pentagram or even if you wear all black, you're not necessarily a witch. So no, you can't see it.
All right. Regina, I could be like a super, super senior witch right now talking to you and judging you.
You could. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Totally judging you, Regina. You're letting me down. I'm joking. No, but I'm very, very intrigued. I'm very intrigued because, people have always, like, I'll tell you, people have tried to get me into meditation. They've tried to get me into yoga, all these things, for, just cleansing my spirit, just feeling better, satisfied. And I've never been into any of it. But now after talking to you, I'm like, maybe this could be my thing, maybe this is what I need. Yeah, it sounds cool as well, So I'm going to definitely bother you a lot after this interview.
That's fine. That's fine.
So, I'm pretty sure I'm already bothering you with so many myths that I've, told you about and asked you questions about. But what are some of the myths that annoy you the most when it comes to witchcraft and witches?
Well, I don't think a lot of those things annoy me. I also enjoy the Hollywood perception of witches. I love those kind of movies. I love TV shows and stuff with witches. I'm obsessed with all that kind of stuff. So I'm not really annoyed. I think people don't really believe in witches, and they don't think it's a real thing, and probably think that we have to be crazy or out of our minds doing this. But that also doesn't annoy me. It doesn't bother me. And also, if people think that I worship Lucifer, I'm fine with that as well. I don't really care. I know what I do, and I know what my practice is.
Beautiful. Regina, you earlier in the interview, you mentioned that you were a fan of Harry Potter when you were growing up. But obviously, with this whole wizard thing that I thought was real, not everything that is talked about is actually true. So,
No.
and I feel so ashamed because all this time I was like, oh gosh, I've been believing the wrong stuff all this time. But do you find any of these Hollywood films to be offending? Or is it just fine?
No, I don't think they're I know. I don't think they're offensive. No. I mean, yeah, witches are often pictured as old women with green skin.
Yeah.
So, but that's kind of, it's not offensive. It's just obviously it's going to mold the perception of witchcraft into that direction, and then it might be harder to convince people that no, I actually do this. I'm actually practicing witchcraft. But yeah, no, I don't find a lot of things offensive.
So there was a show back in the 90s, and it was known as Bewitched, very popular. And it was based on a female witch, who was a normal, regular housewife throughout the day. And she was also a witch, and she could do, a lot of stuff that, obviously showing what they show in Hollywood, supernatural stuff. But
yeah,
how many of these women or men do you think actually exist in the world today who are normal people, but they're also witch in secret?
I have actually no idea how many witches there are in the world, but it's probably hundreds of thousands at least.
But do you think the number of witches in the world is increasing, or is it decreasing? Is it in decline? Any idea about that?
It's actually increasing right now.
Really?
Now that there's, access to all kinds of information with internet, it's so much easier to find, information and study material from everywhere. And since there's no book, like there's no Bible for witchcraft or even for Wicca, so there's no one source of information that you can just read, and that's this is the information that you need for this. So that's why you have to, if you are interested in it and you want to know how things work and what is right and what is wrong, you have to find different resources and listen to different kind of people, read lots of the different books, because these are very individual things for each witch. So it's very it's important to study and then find your own path with that information.
All right. I have to ask you again. It might sound stupid, but it's like if you're talking to the U.S. president, you have to ask him about the UFOs. And since I'm talking to the witch, I have to ask you. I have to ask you about a wand and an invisible cloak. Do any of these exist?
No, I mean there are wands.
Okay.
Magic wands for witches, but the power is not in the wand. It's still manifested within yourself and within you. So a wand is basically just a decoration for your altar.
I see.
So there are magic wands, but I'm sorry to disappoint. It's not like you thought.
All right, don't disappoint me this time. Does Nimbus 2000, is it a real thing? Don't break my heart, Regina. If it's not, just skip it.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, okay. Wow. You can't see, but there's actually a tear in my eyes. I'm crying right now.
Oh, no.
Heartbreaking. Just joking. So let's talk about Halloween. Halloween is right around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
I love Halloween personally. I love dressing up. I love everything about it. But what do you think about it? Do you enjoy the festival?
Yes, I love it. I have always, not always, but for years and years, I've celebrated it, and it's not as it is in America. It hasn't been a thing in Finland really, but me and my family, we've always celebrated the pagan celebrations, the pagan, the pagan holidays. So, so instead of Christmas, we celebrate Jule, which is joulu in Finnish. On Easter, we celebrate the fertility, and it's at the same time as the Christian holidays, but it's just the pagan version of it. So yeah, Halloween is also, we celebrate the pagan, even though they try to steal that away from us as well, but it's still the pagan holiday for us. And I really love it. I love everything with pumpkins and witches and monsters and vampires, and I love it. I love everything about it. And I love fall. Fall is my favorite season, and it's it's the season of the witch.
As well. So since we're talking about festivals and we're talking about a family, what about the acceptance, Regina? How accepting is your family or your friends when it comes to this lifestyle?
I think my friends think I'm crazy, but really? I think I don't think they really understand, but they also don't judge. They let me buy all my candles.
That's good. But they probably don't know about, witchcraft as much as I do now in this interview.
No, probably not. I will probably send this interview to them, so they I will force them to listen and understand.
And I'm sure they will, because I'm a guy who's been afraid of pentagrams all my life, and now I probably want to wear a necklace myself.
Awesome. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, good to know. Good to know that. But Regina, you're already busy, all right? You're a wrestler, you're a witch, and you're also a student. Can you tell us something about what are you studying these days?
Oh, well, I'm actually studying social studies. So I would like to specialize with criminals. So I would love to work in prisons. Or as a parole officer or something like that. I'm sorry, I've been studying this in Finnish, so all the words are in Finnish in my brain. But kind of how to adapt criminals back into the society. That's kind of what I'm actually really interested in right now.
Basically, about giving them a second chance, yeah?
Yeah. So for now it is, but that's my kind of my goal. But there are so many things you can do in social services. You can be in foster homes. You can do, people with some mental issues, drug problems. There's so many different fields in social services. So I don't know where the next 3.5 years will take me. So.
Beautiful, Regina. Absolutely beautiful. There's so much good in you. I mean, you're breaking barriers. You're doing so much great stuff in wrestling. You're a good witch, and you're doing great in your career. I mean, what you're studying for is incredible. But how do you balance so much? I mean, there's so much to do. How do you balance such a busy schedule?
Well, I think the witchcraft is kind of symptom of my busy schedule. I think this is something that I actually found witchcraft when I was severely depressed a little over a year ago. So I think that was a big kind of deal for me to find something for myself and to find something that is very accepting and just about finding your own balance and your own mindfulness. So I think that's when I make time for my practice and I make time to meditate. That's what helps me with everything else in my life.
Incredible. I mean, you mentioned about your mental health, and I can see that you're feeling a lot better now, and that's great. You look great. But the one thing I absolutely admire about you is that you're vocal about everything. You're vocal about mental health. You're vocal about everything that's wrong in society. And I keep looking at your Instagram stories, and they're just so great. I mean, if people were more vocal about things that you are vocal about, I mean, things would be so much better and easier to tackle.
Yeah, that's what I feel. And I know there are a lot of people who find it so annoying, and I keep losing, followers, but I keep gaining them, a lot more.
You're
But yeah,
losing.
I don't, yeah, the trash is taking itself out.
Exactly.
So
That's how I like to put it as well. So
yeah, so I really don't mind. But yeah, I thank you for saying that. But yeah, I think that's the least I can do,
Right.
That's just posting something on my Instagram for my followers. So if there's even one person who, starts thinking about something because of that, then that's enough.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So, Regina, we did this the last time, and during the end of the interview, I asked you a few rapid fire questions. So I have to do it this time once again. I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and they're going to be based on the number 6. All right.
Okay.
So the first question is 6 things that you are afraid of.
Ooh, okay. Water, clowns, dark, heights. What else? 2 more. Wasps, the flying, and 6th, sharks.
Are you sure you can't read minds? Because that's exactly the kind of stuff I'm scared of. Like, really? Like, I was like, don't say shark, don't say shark. They're like, shark. I'm like, God damn it, she reads minds too. wait, you serious?
Maybe.
Wait, tell me, really, tell me. Oh, God. All right, wow. I'm scared of all of them. At times I feel like I was probably one of those people in the Titanic and I got drowned in there because I'm so scared of water. I'm really scared of water.
Yeah.
So
yeah, me too. Yeah. I've been only in the past 2 years, I've been, starting swimming again, just a little by little, but no.
And especially in the dark, I cannot swim in the dark. It's scary.
No. Mm-hmm.
And there was my dear friend, I'm sure you know about him, Shad Gaspard. So
yes, that was tragic.
A tragedy just happened. So I'm just not stepping in the water anytime soon.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's move on. The second question is 6 things. I know that the things that you want to accomplish as a wrestler, but now I want to know 6 things that you want to accomplish as a witch.
Oh my God. I don't think there are anything. This is something I don't think I can answer to, because I don't feel like I need to accomplish anything in my craft.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. 6 things. Okay, I'm going to give you a replacement question. 6 things that you would want general people to know about witchcraft.
Well, I think it's important to separate witchcraft from religion. So I think that would be the most important part.
That's very important.
And also that witchcraft doesn't necessarily mean anything supernatural either. So I think that's another thing. But I don't know. Those are the most, and also respecting the elements is, I think that's very, very, very crucial, and it should be to everyone, in every human being.
Incredible. So, do you? It's gonna be stereotypical again of me to ask you this, but do you know any spells?
Yes.
You do? All right. Okay. Can you tell me any spells? I was gonna ask you for 6, but I'm just gonna tell you just any spell, like some good spell.
Well, unfortunately, no, because the spells are very private, and I have them in my book of shadows. And this is it was an empty book, and I have filled it with my craft, with my witch magical recipes, and with spells. So I cannot unfortunately tell you any of my spells. There are some basic spells you can just finding Google, and it's fine. I think people can use their own spells or spells that they find. But I feel since it's very personal for me, I like to create my craft, and this is what a lot of witches do, that they create their own spells. Yeah.
Beautiful. But by the way, that book looks really interesting and looks very beautiful. How do you?
Thank you.
Where do you get it from? Do you make it yourself?
Yeah, I made it myself.
Incredible.
It's like I said, creating everything I can from scratch. It makes it more personal.
You know, Regina, I'm a very, very curious guy. You probably know that. And you can't even imagine the thoughts I have in my head right now. I'm like, I want to know. But okay, I understand.
This is a book that you cannot see or read.
Very curious. I'm going to fly down to Finland. I'm going to meet you, and I'm going to sneak into your place, get that book. I'm so curious right now. But really, very curious. I'm going to find out one day.
Okay. So challenge accepted.
Okay. All right. Well, curious question again. Number 13 and number 666. These are two numbers that I've been very, very scared of. Very scared of. My apartment in New York City, it does not have number 13th floor because people are so superstitious. It does not have a 13th floor. And many apartments in New York do not have 13th floor. I'm very curious, and I want to know. Yeah, they don't. I want to know, Regina, how much is there to be scared of here? And do you know anything about these numbers? Are you scared of them yourselves?
I am not. No. I think it really depends on what you believe in, but I like superstitions. But I don't think if I believe in them, though. Right. What comes to 666? That's again something to do with the Lucifer fella, and I don't believe he exists. Right. So I wouldn't be too scared of that. But unless if you believe in Lucifer, and if you believe that that's a code for him, then maybe you should avoid it. I don't know.
I'll tell you, I believe in nothing at all. I just believe in God, and I believe in doing good. That's what I believe in. Just be a good person, kind to everybody, Just be a good human being. That's it. That's all that I really believe in, and good will follow you. That's what I believe in. But when you're in New York and when you're in these high rises and you see no 13th floor, it makes you question if these people are believing in it. Maybe I should too. That's what happens. Yeah. But no, I'm going to be immune to it now after this interview. So, Regina, yes, go ahead, Regina.
No. Just if I'm wrong. And you happen to die on a 13th floor.
You will know if you're wrong. Okay, I hope you're not. Yeah. So, you mentioned very early in the interview that, it's this magic for you, witchcraft for you is being close to nature, to animals, being good to them. Are you a vegetarian?
I am not.
Okay. All right.
I am moving towards it. But the reason that I am trying not to eat meat is because of the environment, right. More so than the animals. Right. Because the pollution that it costs, the meat production, that I think is the biggest problem. But then again, whenever I start to think about it, I do feel like I need to do more. Every time I feel like I need to do more.
You do a lot already, Regina. You do a lot. So I can tell you, I'm a vegetarian except for eggs. I don't think you can call me vegetarian now, but except for eggs and boneless chicken wings from Buffalo Wild Wings. Apart from that, I'm vegetarian. So apart from that, I'm
very selective vegetarian.
Yeah, very selective. Only. I'm sorry, chickens, but I can't help myself. But you do a lot, and I know that I do a lot. So we're good. I mean, you're good the way you are. You do a lot. But I must say, Regina, I feel super motivated to learn more about witchcraft and try and become a witch myself in the future.
That's awesome.
Is there a community or a forum, a platform where witches unite and they, socialize? Is there something like that?
There is all over the internet. You can find places like near you, witchcraft for beginners, or covens near you. I am part of a couple of different groups in on Facebook, actually. One is international, and the other one is just for Finnish witches and Wiccans. But I really prefer to do solitary work, just for myself, myself, and I. It's very personal for me, and that's kind of it's my only thing, just for me. So I want to keep it that way.
Awesome. So, Regina, what do you think is the future of witches? I mean, we were just talking about it, that the number of witches in the world is growing up. It's going up.
Yeah.
So, what do you think is the future?
I think we're going to keep growing, and I think people will gravitate towards witchcraft more now that we have so much technology and everything is so digital. And I feel people will start to feel the need to get into nature and be one with nature. I think that's going to gravitate people towards witchcraft in the future.
Crazy, Regina. Like an hour before this interview, I had no idea that witchcraft and nature were even related. And now here I am. I mean, it blows my mind, but it's so incredible what Hollywood can do to you. I mean, so now I was like, oh my God.
So many levels, yeah.
Wow, it's incredible. But really, I'm really into it now, and I want to research more and bother you a lot more. Spam you with messages, find out a lot about witchcraft. Awesome.
I'm so fine with that. Go ahead.
You're awesome, Regina. So would you be incorporating more elements of witchcraft into your in-ring character in the future? I know you've done that in the past, but would you be that?
I would love to. I need to see how it kind of works with my current storylines and such. And like I think I mentioned before, we have one witch on our roster. Her name is Pandora.
Yep.
And I think unless we get to do something together, I don't think it would make sense to have two separate witches. So, but if we can make a small coven within our promotion, then I think that would be cool. And then I would definitely bring my witch side to wrestling.
Or maybe you will bring your witchcraft into the wrestling ring sometime in America or the UK when you'll be on
true.
screens. Yeah. True. I really want to see you on the television screen, Regina. I can't wait for that. Awesome. Regina, this was such a fun-filled and informative session, really. My perspective on witchcraft has changed totally. And now I'm looking at it as more of meditation and spirituality, which is incredible. And I'm sure
and that's like I said, it's my perception of it. So if you interview some other witch, it could be different. Right. But that's my take on it.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful take on it. What would your advice be to any of the viewers, just like myself, who are intrigued by this interview and would want to get more information on it?
Read books about witchcraft, about paganism, about all of that to get the information. And it's really, witchcraft is a lot about research. But I think that's the beauty of it too, learning new things. And but it's, even if you don't want to read books, it's so easy to find different things on the internet, find different people on social media, on YouTube. There's a witch that I often listen to. It's Hearth Witch. Mm-hmm. She's on YouTube and she's brilliant. She makes these kind of Q&As and just tutorials for witches. It's great. But yeah, just make sure you get enough different kinds of perceptions about witchcraft so you can make it your own.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for your time, Regina. It was incredible talking to you as always. And everybody listening to this right now, I know that you're a fan of Regina by now. So make sure to follow her on social media. Her Instagram handle, which is just incredible, it is @2Regina. And Regina, I can't wait to have you back on the show and talk more about wrestling and witchcraft. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much again.
And this brings us to the end of a very exciting episode with the one and the only Regina Rosendahl. We will be back next week with a very exciting episode featuring a professional wrestler all the way from the land of Russia. Don't forget to subscribe and share the episode with your friends and family. And as always, we will be back next Tuesday and every other Tuesday after next Tuesday.